We'd asked about it. Right, everyone. While the guys are just getting the last cups of teas, I'll crack on anyway, because I'm determined for the first one of these meetings ever to finish us on time. So hold me to account if we go a minute past 5:30. So I'm delighted to welcome Sarah Kerrigan with us today. Sarah's expertise in particular is around return in investment across social activity, and Sarah specifically helps businesses ensure they get this return on investment. So Sarah works with clients on a one-to-one basis and gives them that hand-holding they need, but also does a lot of work like this with groups like ourselves to really look at how we can maximise our social presence. So Sarah manages all the social platforms for the Made Simple group, and to give you an example of clearly how talented Sarah is, she's actually raised the ROI within that group on Facebook by 329%. So obviously knows what she's talking about. Also Sarah, why she's here today, she's a real expert on creating trends, creating buzzes across social media, the idea around content creation and hackathons. So Sarah's going to talk a little bit more today about how we can maximise the power of our social networks. So I'm delighted to hand over to Sarah to give us her keynote.
Lovely, thank you David, fantastic introduction. Hello everybody, good afternoon. As David said, my name's Sarah, so I'm going to be talking to you about how you guys can be maximising the power of social media, and in particular Twitter. I know a lot of you are already active on Twitter, you're already confident on the platform, you're using it, the DMs, you've all got your regional Twitter accounts that you're managers of. But what we're going to be looking at today is how you can really, well, that is the word, maximise, really maximise being present on those platforms, and how you can actually create a buzz on those platforms. It's not enough anymore to just be present on them and to just be kind of pushing out this one-way information, which I said, Ian earlier said it perfectly actually. It's all about engagement and creating a buzz, and that's how you're really going to make a difference and get your voice heard. So first we're just going to look at what do we know already. So we know the stats, we know the potential of social media. You know, we hear it all the time, how many people are on Twitter, how many people are on these platforms. We know that there's potential to do great things on them. Yet it's not as easy, as I said, just going on those platforms and hoping that something is going to happen. So just to review some of the stats here. So active Twitter users, 289 million there. So that is 4.5 times the population of the UK. Just to put that stat into context. Number of new users signing up every day, 135,000. So that's nearly double the capacity of the Millennium Stadium. I'm from Cardiff. Any other Welshies in the room here today? I've already met one, yes. So that's a lot of new people signing up every day to the platform. Number of Twitter search engine queries every day, 2.1 billion. So Google actually has 3 billion search engine queries. So it just shows you that a lot of people are now turning to these social media platforms to search instead of going to Google, because they're more engaging, because they want to see visuals, they want to see videos, they don't just want to see websites, they want to see people's opinions about things. So people are going to Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, and using them to search for things. So something to be aware of, how visible are you on these platforms? If people use that search bar in the top of these platforms, can you be found? And number of tweets that happen every second, so 9,000 tweets a second. So that's literally 9,000 tweets, another 9,000 tweets. They're kind of being blasted out into the Twitter sphere. And I think that last stat there just shows you that there's so much noise on Twitter. There's so much noise on these platforms. So it's really, really difficult to get your voice heard. Because how do you cut through all that noise? And how do you actually reach people who want to hear your message, or you reach people whose message you want to hear? So the answer is to create a buzz, to engage. That is how to cut through all that noise. And 4 things which I'm going to be covering today, which I think are really important to keep front of mind to create a buzz, to create that engagement. Number 1 is continual engagement, and I'm going to go through what I mean by these things in a minute. Number 2 is real-time conversation. Number 3, amplification. And number 4 is influence. So I've got a Twitter objective here. So if I was one of you guys, and I'm giving myself this Twitter objective to create a buzz in your local region, because under the DMs, that's one of your jobs, to create, draw attention to yourself within your local region. So that's my objective, and how can I reach that by doing these things? So continual engagement. So what I mean by that is searching out locally, reaching out to people on Twitter, using that search bar within Twitter, and typing in your local region and connecting to people within your local region. So that search bar is really powerful. So I'm just going to show you quickly, actually, what I mean by that. So literally going to Twitter and, for example, typing in West Yorkshire, clicking that search, sorting by accounts, and going through and connecting, following these local authorities, local influencers, people who are on Twitter within your local area. So next, it's hitting that tweet to button. So not just following them, what can you then do after following them? How can you actually make that engagement? So instead of just following them and leaving it thinking, okay, we've done our job now, actually reaching out and talking to them, having that conversation with them. Because you've got to engage on Twitter. It's social media. It's all about the social part of it. And that's how you cut through that noise, actually reaching out and engaging with people. And when I mean engagement, I don't just mean the kind of spammy, automated mass engagement which you see on Twitter, automated DMs, and everybody knows they're automating. It's not a person doing that. I like to compare that to, for example, if you're at a networking event. You don't just go to a networking event. You don't just walk around going, hey, here's my business card. Hey, here's my business card. Hey, here's my business card. That kind of just one-way mass push out a message. You actually go and have conversations with people. And social media is exactly the same. So if you don't do it offline, don't do it online. It's the same concept. It's, hey, how are you? What do you do? What does your business do? Actually having a conversation, which people seem to forget when they go online. They forget to have that conversation. So don't be afraid to hit that tweet to button and talk directly to businesses, to people within your local area, to create that engagement. Then you can create Twitter lists, which are a fantastic tool. Really fantastic tool. It's actually, I'd say, pretty hard to cut through the noise on Twitter if you're not using Twitter lists. Is anybody using them at the moment already? Maybe just raise your hand. So you guys know what they are. I'll just show you again very quickly in case anyone's not sure. They're just a way of organising, I guess, your followers on Twitter. So when you're following all these people, your home timeline becomes very, very busy. And it's very, very difficult to engage with people in a targeted way. but you can actually sort all the people you're following into these Twitter lists. So you can say, okay, here's the local authorities that we need to be engaging with, here's the local businesses, here's new FSB members who have just joined us, we need to be ongoing engaging with these guys. So you can sort them into Twitter lists so they're nice and organised. So if we're on Twitter here, so we've searched locally, we're seeing who is on Twitter and who's active within the local area. You've followed people, you've gone to their profile, you've made a connection with them, you've hit that tweet to button to talk to them. To get that engagement going on continually, you know, it's not just a one-stop thing, oh, here, hello, here we are, and then forget about them. It's actually worth adding them to a Twitter list. So if you click on the little cog on that profile there, you can add or remove people from lists. And here you can add them to a Twitter list, and you can call that Twitter list whatever you want to call it. It's entirely up to you. It's just a private way of sorting people on Twitter who, if you have campaigns, you need to be doing more engagement with certain people, create a Twitter list around that campaign and add them to it. So you can see these Twitter lists that I've already created here. So you can go down to the bottom and create a new list, call it whatever you want, and you can make that list public or private. If the list is public, people get notified they've been put in that list. So again, it's a great way for online networking. If you want people to know you've put them into a public list, they'll get a notification, they're likely to come and check you out, check everybody else out in the list. You know, if you've got a local or FSB members list, local authorities list, or people that we need to be reaching out and engaging with, or you can make that list totally private and nobody will ever know that they're in that list. And then it's just for you to get organised on Twitter within your head, so you can be continually engaging with a targeted audience. And then finally, hitting that reply button. So again, it's not going to really be cutting through the noise if you're just sending out these tweets that aren't engaging in conversation. It's just a broadcast. It's a very old, traditional way of marketing. You know, when you put an advert in the newspaper or something on the radio, people can't really respond to that. It's one-way broadcasting. Social media, the fantastic thing about it is that people can reply to you and you can have those conversations online from people all over the world. So hit that reply button, which allows you to respond rather than to push. So instead of thinking, oh, we need to send out 4 tweets today, you're actually, oh, we need to go on, find and reply to tweets a day, to reply to what's going on and to respond to conversation rather than pushing out that one-way message. And this should be ongoing, so it's just a circle really of continual engagement, constantly reaching out to people in your local area on Twitter, finding them, following them, having conversation with them and reply to what they're saying. And you can do all that really, really easily by using Twitter lists. So who should you be engaging with? So I just want you to turn to the person next to you for 30 seconds and just swap 3 ideas who you think you should be engaging with on Twitter within your area. Okay. When everybody's ready. Okay, everybody. Sorry to interrupt you. Sorry. It's okay. Okay, so any ideas? What did people come up with on who they should be engaging with in their local area to create this kind of local buzz?
Schools and colleges?
Yes. Schools and colleges, great.
Journalists?
Journalists, yep. Journalists, Twitter is the platform for journalists. So if you're having to work with the media and work with journalists, they are on Twitter. It's a fantastic way to get to know them. Again, create a list around journalists and get engaging with them on a continual basis, so you can become their friends and they can be amplifying your content. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, definitely. I think it's 84% of political leaders in the world are on Twitter. So again, it is the platform for them to be on. So a really, really easy way to be engaging with local politicians, trying to get them to amplify your message. Yeah.
Other business networks?
Yeah, definitely. Other business networks. Yes.
Members.
FSB members, yeah, definitely. Hugely important.
Local venues.
Yeah, local venues, great.
Prospective candidates for elections because they will
Yeah, they're more likely to engage with you. Okay, so you've got loads of ideas. Oh, yeah, some more.
No, sorry, just if I go to an events meeting, I've met a few businesses, make sure I've got their cards, and then I'll get back and immediately connect with them on.
Exactly, fantastic. Online, keep that online networking going. Definitely, yeah, really good point. Okay, so these are just the ideas that I had, but you've covered this and you guys know best who you need to be connected with locally. But you know, at local FSB members, local businesses, local authorities, journalists, media, politicians and government. People who are influential as well, and people who you need to be networking with, so you can start making Twitter friends with them. It sounds silly, but start networking with them online so they can start pushing out your message. And introducing you to a new audience, you know, all the people that follow them. These guys have the influence. Okay, so that's engagement, continual engagement that you should be doing constantly, reaching out, connecting with people, having that conversation, not just broadcasting your messages and not listening to anyone. Next time, next up, we've got real-time conversation. So what's really important and shouldn't be underestimated is instant response on Twitter. So responding as quickly as you can. Generally now people expect brands, large brands, to respond in under 3 hours on Twitter. And it's really, still really powerful if you tweet somebody or tweet a brand or an influencer on Twitter and they come back and respond straight away, just like they're next to you in the room. And then straight away you get that conversation going online in real time. You know, you haven't gone back 3 days later. So don't underestimate instant response. Really important to get your notifications coming through on your phone and into your email as well. You know, you can stop all those other email notifications when people follow you and like your tweets, because it does get a bit of overload. But the really important, you need to be notified as soon as somebody speaks to you, so you can jump on that and start having that conversation straight away with them. So next, Twitter chats here. Fantastic way. The easiest way really to create a buzz on Twitter is to get everybody on Twitter tweeting at the same time around the same hashtag or around the same topic. Because if everyone's on there at the same time, all the people who are following them are going to see what's going on, and you get that buzz created, your voice spreads, you get that amplification. So Twitter chats are a great way of doing this. You organise a time, you organise a date, and you have a Twitter Q&A session. Get everybody tweeting around a specific hashtag. You can get an influencer in, somebody who's in the local area who is going to be helpful for people. promote that Twitter chat and get people online talking at the same time. So you can then start following, liking, retweeting, and engaging with all these people. Next one is Twitter battles. I'm going to show you, I've got a couple of examples of these in a minute, which I'm going to go through, just to try and give you an idea and inspire you of what type of things are happening. And a lot of them are from small businesses as well, really creating a successful buzz on Twitter. So Twitter battles, it's two businesses battling it out, back and forth kind of banter. I'll show you an example of that in a minute. Again, around a hashtag. So you're getting lots and lots of accounts talking around the same hashtag to amplify your message. Event hashtags, you guys know these well. So the event hashtag here, FSBCONF. So we're going to be doing an activity on that shortly. But again, it's a fantastic opportunity to be creating a buzz around what you guys want to be saying. So every event that you do, make sure you've got a hashtag, make sure you're promoting that hashtag, and you're getting as many people to be tweeting on it as possible. So it amplifies your voice and amplifies your message. And finally, competitions. Again, great way to get a buzz going. Get people offline and get them online. So you know who they are on Twitter. You can then follow them. You can then put them in a list. And you can then have that continual ongoing engagement with them and that real-time conversation with them. So I've got some examples here for you of some small local businesses actually doing really, really well at creating a buzz around their brand, using those things I've just spoken about. Now, these guys are a local brewery in Greenwich, and they've actually using Twitter battles to create a fantastic buzz around their branded terms. So they're using that hashtag meantime delivery guy. You can see just within the last 7 days, this is an ongoing thing. They've been doing this for over a year now. In the last 7 days, they've reached over 45,000 impressions just around that hashtag. And their objective is to get a buzz around their brand with company employees in London. So they're reaching out to all the employees in London because they want, obviously, those guys, when they're going to the pubs in London, to be ordering that beer that they've got there. So what they do is they ask 2 companies every week to come together and to battle it out around that hashtag. So they tweet out a challenge every day, they tweet out a question, and they have 2 companies responding to that question, producing content, videos, visuals around that hashtag, and have those 2 companies battling it out to create as much buzz as possible around that hashtag. So they've got other people creating content on the hashtag. All they've done is brought companies together, and everybody else is doing the hard work. They've just made it happen. They're just the facilitators. But again, they're creating huge brand advocates. The winner of those Twitter battle, every week there's a winner, and they win 5 crates of Meantime Brewery beer, which they hand deliver to every office within London. Again, then those employees are taking photos of that beer, tweeting that out again. And of course, when they go to the pub, they've now created these brand advocates who are going to choose that beer because they've been given it free and they've gone through this battle and they've come out the other end and they've won. So a really fantastic example of a small local brewery doing a great job at creating noise on Twitter around their brand and actually them creating brand advocates as well. So next here, this is actually a competition that we did at the Made Simple group, which got that hashtag trending, hashtag ShoeSnap. And our objective was to create a buzz around our rebrand from our customers. So we rebranded, and we wanted to get our customers on board. We didn't want any backlash from the rebrand, which can happen when you're rebranding. It's a huge, huge thing. So we got our customers involved on Twitter and got them engaged on Twitter. So we sent out a direct mailer to all our customers with these instructions. We said, a big part of our rebrand is about putting ourselves in our customers' shoes. Bit cheesy, I know, but that was the thing. So we said, get out your phone and camera, take a picture of your shoes, and post that picture on our Facebook wall or tweet us with it with the hashtag ShoeSnap. So again, we're getting the people offline. We haven't identified a lot of our customers on Twitter. We don't know if they're on Twitter or what they're doing on Twitter. We got them to get onto Twitter. We identified them because they were using that hashtag and they were tweeting us content. And then we had some fantastic ongoing banter with them then. We really got to know them. We got friendly with them. We had that back and forth real-time conversation because we were replying instantly. And when we did, our rebrand did go live, we absolutely had no backlash whatsoever. We did not have one negative comment from any of our customers because we got them involved first. But more importantly, we got a buzz around that hashtag, a buzz around our brand, and we started to identify our customers on Twitter. So we can now have that continual engagement going with them. You know, we've put them in a Twitter list, we know who they are. So this is happening at the moment. Now these, obviously HSBC, this is their competition, they're not a small business, but I thought it was quite interesting because their objective is to create a buzz around UK small business owners. So quite relevant to you guys. And at the moment they're doing a competition and they've got a hashtag, #ElevateMyBusiness. So they are offering £150,000 to the winner, and they are asking small business owners to send in a video pitch of why they deserve to win that money. So they haven't announced the winner yet. They're really dragging this out and they're creating a buzz around this hashtag with their target audience. They've announced the 10 finalists and they're encouraging these finalists to be tweeting around this hashtag. And not only that, they're actually having Twitter Q&As around this hashtag, and they're having events around this same hashtag. So they're really kind of rinsing that for everything they can get. And they want small business owners to know who they are, to identify with them, and to go to them. So they're really engaging small business owners all across the UK with this hashtag and getting them to tweet on there. So next we've got amplification. So that was continual engagement, reaching out locally, connecting. Then we had real-time conversation, the easiest way to create a buzz, get everybody on Twitter tweeting around a hashtag at the same time. Next we've got amplification. So amplification is really powerful on Twitter. If you can be getting other people to retweet your message, you know, that's your aim, because you want your message to spread to as many people as possible. So if you can be on a mission to be getting retweets from your accounts that you're managing, that's ideally where you want to get. You want to be getting influencers to retweet you, local businesses to retweet you. So when you're creating your tweets, write them so they are retweetable. You know, think about it. Make sure they've got pictures in, 150% more likely to be retweeted a tweet with an image in. Make sure you've got your hashtags in there. Make sure you've shrunk your link so the tweet looks nice and tidy. So be on that mission to reach out and engage these influencers and try and get them to retweet you, because then they're amplifying your message to their audience. Hashtags, we spoke about this. You guys already know about hashtags. Chip in on those hashtags. Know your hashtags. Do you know what hashtags are popular in your local area? Do you know what other people and what hashtags they're using? You know, do some research. The only way to do some research is to get on Twitter and use that search bar again. See what other local businesses are using. See what other local influencers are using. You need to know those hashtags inside out and make sure you're putting your messages on those hashtags. And again, trending hashtags. So you know, yesterday the budget 2016 was trending. So any hashtags that are to do within your industry, jumping on the back of trending hashtags is a fantastic way of amplifying your message, of getting your message out there, getting into that wider conversation and reaching a new audience. And then finally, which is the strongest way, is to create an online community. So that's what you really want to get to, is to create a community of people to amplify your message for you, and they are happy to do that. It's this kind of brand advocates idea. You know, if you can get people to be tweeting about you on your hashtag, creating and sharing content for you, then really you don't have to be doing much work at all. A great example of this is a small marketing agency in London. They've created this hashtag #SMLondon, and this is a really active hashtag, and they're not tweeting on it. They have marketing professionals all over the country constantly tweeting on it. These guys aren't even their target market. They're not even their customers. They're almost their competitors in a way, because these are other marketing people, other marketing professionals. But because they've created this online community who are really loyal to them, they've now got hundreds and hundreds of professionals tweeting on their hashtag, amplifying their brand through that hashtag. And they've done this by creating blog posts and getting these guys involved in blog posts. They reached out to me and asked me to be in their 2016 social media predictions. So they're reaching out to these people and getting them involved in their content. So reaching out to local businesses and getting them involved in the content you're creating. So then they're more likely going to share it and follow you and see you as an influencer and respect you and really become really loyal to you, actually, which is what you want. You want people to be loyal to you, to fall in love with you, so they start sharing your stuff without you even asking them to do it. And finally, these guys are fantastic on Twitter. Another startup, Packed Coffee. I absolutely love these guys, and I don't even like coffee. So they're doing a fantastic job, again, of getting people to fall in love with their brand by engaging with them, by really gamifying what they're doing as well and making people smile. So you can see their campaign here. They reached out to another influencer's audience, Cycle of HQ, saying, you know, we'll give you our coffee for £1, tweet us and tell us what you think about it afterwards. So then on their packaging, they put this very cool little rhyme your feedback on their packaging, encouraging people to, you know, finish off the poem to say what they thought about Packed Coffee and encourage them to take a photo and tweet that photo into them. So an example of user-generated content, you know, that content is being created by the customers and being sent in. So really great way of identifying people offline, getting them online so they can create that online community and continually then engage with them, because they know now who these people are. They found them on Twitter because people have tweeted to them. They've got them into a Twitter list and they're continually engaging with them, getting that banter going and becoming their friends on Twitter. So next we've got, and finally, is influence. So we looked at continual engagement, we looked at real-time conversation, amplification, so getting your community and getting other people to amplify your voice. And finally is influence, really important. So the key two options here, become one and become friends with them. So to become an influence, you need to be doing all those things we've just spoken about. You need to be engaging, you need to be talking to people, you need to be creating a buzz. The more influential you become online, the more likely people will then follow you and the more likely people will want to share your content. And become friends with them. Identify other influencers as in your local community. Reach out to them, engage with them, make friends with them, and get them to retweeting your stuff and pushing out your message. Because it's so much more powerful when your message comes from somebody else than when it comes from you. It's like you standing there saying, yeah, we're fantastic at what we do, or somebody else standing there saying, these guys are actually really fantastic at what they do. The second one's much more powerful. So there's actually ways you can measure influence. There's ways you can find out who is an influence within your local region. There's metrics that give you ideas on who is influential online. Something called clout. Has anybody ever heard of clout? So, great, some of you have. So it's a useful metric to give you an indication of actually who is being engaged with on Twitter. Everybody has a clout score, and every one of you guys will have a clout score, you just might not know it. And other people will be able to see that clout score. So it's worth finding out what your clout score is. You can do that by signing up at clout.com, and then it will tell you what your clout score is. And if you actually download the Clout Google Chrome extension, has anyone heard of Google Chrome extensions? You can get these little things at the top of your browser, which are really, really useful. So you can download a Google Chrome extension, and it will tell you, I would show you, but unfortunately I'm not on Google Chrome here, on Firefox. And when you're in Twitter, it actually tells you everyone's clout score if you've got that Google Chrome extension. So really, really quickly, you can see who is influential within your local industry and your local area. So a really, really respectable clout score is above 60, so 60 or above. I think the FSB Voice is 64, I think, when I looked the other day. And so find out what your clout score is. Try and get that clout score up to at least 60, because then you will be seen as being an online influence. And you can do that by engaging, because you are more influential online if you're engaging, because then you're actually cutting through the noise. You're cutting through those 9,000 tweets a second that are going out, and you're making a real connection with somebody. You're having a conversation rather than just shouting your message at people who might or might not be listening. You don't even know, because they're not responding to you. So really, really good metric there to give you an indication. Find out what your clout score is, engage, approach people with higher clout scores than you, and reach out to them and try and get them involved in what you're doing, get them to amplify your message, and that can really help with your engagement. So some tools and content here to help you do all of this. I know these have been mentioned earlier this afternoon. So obviously photos and videos, engaging content you need to be sharing online. Social media platforms are so content hungry. It's almost impossible to be on social media and to do it well if you haven't got content, because what are you going to be tweeting about? And how are you going to be engaging people? So you need to be confidently taking or have access to good photos and to videos. Some apps here which are really handy. And again, these things are great because they're all on the mobile. So, everyone's on the same level with these things. There's not expensive camera equipment that some people could invest in, some people can afford. Everybody's on the same level using these types of tools. So Instagram first, if we have a quick look at Instagram. Is anybody on Instagram? Okay, so it's an app on your phone. So you can take a photo on Instagram, stick some nice filters on it to make it look pretty, and great then for you to share those photos onto Twitter, onto Facebook, wherever you want to share them. So you don't have to be active on Instagram yourself. It's just a great tool to use to make your photos look a bit better for you to then be sharing them on Twitter. We've got Vine. Is anyone on Vine or heard of Vine? Anyone heard of Vine? A couple of you, yeah? So that's a tool owned by Twitter. It allows you to produce 6-second videos. Not very long, I know, but we know that people's attention spans are getting shorter. So you've got less and less time to engage with them. So you can see why that's becoming a popular tool. It's owned by Twitter, so you just download it, sign in with your Twitter account. It allows you to create these really, really easy 6-second videos, which are kind of stoppy and starty. Really easy to use and really engaging. Then we've got Periscope. Now this is my favourite tool and has the biggest potential, and I think especially for you guys. Again, it's owned by Twitter. And what Periscope does, it allows you to live stream from your mobile phone. So you can have your own TV show. You can be doing your own live interviews and streaming that from Twitter. So again, just download it on your phone. And within a couple of clicks of a button, you can be streaming live from wherever you are. So perfect if you're at events. Perfect if you want to be streaming your event live for people who can't make it. and they can watch it online from Twitter Live from your mobile phone. Perfect for live Q&As, quick live interviews at events. You see someone, let's do a quick interview. I did one earlier with Sean at the back. We did a couple of periscopes, didn't we? So I think what we'll do is showcase this to you now, because I think this is going to be the most effective tool for you to be using. So once you download the app, it's literally with a few clicks of a button, you can be streaming live. So you click on the little camera, and because it's linked directly to Twitter, you just call the title, type in the title of what you're doing, and that will be the content of the tweet, which then gets sent out. So you can put your hashtags in here, you can mention people, so mention other Twitter accounts, so whoever you're interviewing. And then that gets sent out as a tweet on Twitter with a link, and people can watch it live, real time within your Twitter feed. So does anybody want to volunteer to come up here, and we'll do a quick live periscope, maybe just talking about the FSB conference. Yeah, fantastic. Great.
Right, go on then.
Okay, so what should we talk about? What should I call it? Is it just we're at the FSB, this is what's happening over the next couple of days? What do you want to talk about in a minute?
Okay.
An overview?
DM's having fun in Glasgow.
Okay. So do you want to talk about what's happening here?
Yes, we're learning about social media.
Okay, so just so you're ready.
Yeah. Let's keep it professional.
So you can talk about the conference, talk about what you're doing here. So I'll call it DMs having fun in Glasgow. Hashtag FSBCONF. Okay. So you can see I've written the title. I've written the title there, which is the content of the tweet. That is the tweet. And then in a minute, I'll click Start Broadcasting. So because I've selected the little Twitter bird there, that's automatically going to then send out a tweet from my Twitter profile with a link for people to watch, and they'll be able to be watching us right now live. So once I click Start Broadcasting, I'll say, here we are. I'm in Glasgow at the FSB conference. And then I'll say, sorry, what's your name?
Denise Bedell.
I'll say, Denise, tell us a little bit about what's going on in the next couple of days. Okay? So I'm going to click Start Broadcast, and I'm going to double tap the screen so it faces me, and I'm going to film myself. And then I'm going to double tap the screen again, and that'll flip the camera back round so I can film Denise. Okay, so here we are live in Glasgow at the FSB conference. I'm here with the DMs, and I'm going to hand over to Denise, and Denise tells a little bit about what's going on in the next couple of days at the conference.
Hello. Yes, we're here in Glasgow at the SECC. We're here for the FSB conference in 2016, and we're looking forward to hearing some keynote speeches tomorrow morning from Nicola Sturgeon, First Minister for Scotland, from John MacDonald for Labour, and for Ruth Davidson for the Conservatives in Scotland. So it should be really exciting.
Fantastic. And we stop broadcasting. Okay, so that tweet has now gone out live. People will be able to see it. We actually had 2 live viewers.
Is this my 15 seconds of fame?
It's going to go viral, I know it. We had 2 live viewers watching that. So people will be able to watch that on Periscope, and people will also be able to watch that on Twitter. And it was that easy. A couple of clicks and it's done.
I should want you to put at FSB London in there.
You can find it and retweet it. Thanks, Denise. Oh, don't know what happened there. So you can see that's a really, really powerful tool to be using on your phone, and it's so, so easy. So just have a play around with it. You can do total private ones to begin with that don't go live once you want to just get to grips with it, so you don't have to make total fools practicing and playing around with it. But really, really powerful. So can anybody tell me what this is here? Yes. So that's you guys there, trending. Hashtag FSB 2016. That's a screenshot of you trending. So we want to try and recreate that again. That's our aim while we're here in Glasgow this weekend. And to do that, the only way to do that is to make a lot of noise on Twitter, get a buzz going with everybody tweeting, retweeting, sharing everybody else's content on that hashtag at the same time. That's how powerful you guys can be. You've got each other. You can become one voice via that hashtag. And when that trends, that reaches so many people all over the world, that trending hashtag. So it's so powerful. So what we want you guys to be doing now is you've got half an hour to go away, to go to the conference, to get on Twitter and to start selling the conference. So go around taking pictures, taking videos. If you're feeling brave, download Periscope, do a live interview like we just did then, and start tweeting on that hashtag as much as you can, so we can try and get as many people at once making a buzz and getting some noise on that hashtag. We're then going to come back in here and just have a quick review and recap what kind of content you guys could come up with, what kind of content you could create, and have a look at that live hashtag. So do you accept that challenge? No. FSBCONF hashtag, yeah. So the hashtag, very important question. Is it? Great. So we can add to it.
We've got a bit longer than half an hour, so we're a bit ahead of schedule. So if everyone can be here by about 4:15, and as Sarah said, it's that hashtag FSBCONF.